Good Friday morning. Candidates from Congressional District 5 and Circuit Court 2 debated last night.
Last week,
see how Ball State students are showing their talents through film.
And one Star Wars actor finally gets his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Get the coffee ready and open up those eyes. You're waking up with Cardinal weather.
From Ball State Unified Media, you're waking up with Cardinal weather, live from the Ball State Weather Center.
Good Friday morning to you. You're waking up with Cardinal weather, and I'm Anna Drake.
And I'm Ethan Kelso.
It was a busy night for politics last night. Two separate forums gave voters an opportunity to learn more about their candidates. The first forum held 4 people running for Congressional District 5, Took and Anderson. The candidates were from separate parties: Victoria Sparks for Republican, Deborah Pickett for Democrat, Robbie Slaughter for Independent, and Lori Schillings for Libertarian. The event was hosted by the League of Women Voters from Muncie and Anderson branches. Controlling debt was a common theme during a panel, with many expressing their desire to leave economic solutions up to the states and communities. Immigration, abortion, and gun control were also discussed.
Candidates for Circuit Court 2 also sat down in a second forum hosted by the NAACP. Those candidates were Deputy Prosecutor Andrew Ramirez and Judge Kimberly Dowling. Viewers that were sitting in got a taste of who those two candidates are as community members, and what their view are on the justice system in terms of quality and fairness. Both candidates offered their insight on how to better the system in Delaware County, ensure that fair, equal treatment is given to anyone that enters their courtroom.
The Princess Bride is coming to Ball State. The Princess Bride actor Carrie Yules is coming to Emmons Auditorium tonight. Following a screening of the film, the actor will be answering questions from a moderator as well as attendees. In addition to answering questions, Yules will be revealing a never-before-shared look at what went on behind the scenes during the filming of the classic film. And that's a classic. I love The Princess Bride. I'm so excited for students to be able to go do that and see it. Let's see what Ian has for local weather.
Yeah, starting off our day, perhaps a little cloudier than some of us would have wanted. Behind me, you can see just a light cloud cover kind of coming into Delaware County. You're not going to have to worry about that for the rest of the day. It's been warming up a little bit over these past week. Only today, though, we started to slow down a little bit here. You can see we've only warmed up by 1 degree here in Muncie over the last 24 hours. Down towards southern Indiana, you're going to see a very different story. 9 degrees in Shelbyville, 10 in Bloomington, 11 in Terre Haute. The difference between northern and southern Indiana right now is those remnants of Hurricane Francine, now post-tropical depression Francine, changing up those temperatures between the northern and southern half of Indiana. That's why we're only seeing that light cloud cover up here in Delaware County, and you're going to want to expect that for the rest of the week too. Our out-the-door temperatures, similarly, are going to start to heat right back up, but those clouds start to move out of the area. 65 degrees at 8 a.m., 75 at 10, 82 at noon, 87 at 2, 4 p.m., 89 degrees, and 88 at 6 p.m. We're warming up a whole lot over these next few hours, and fortunately, we're going to continue to see these nice conditions. That warming conditions might keep a little hotter this next week. Tune back in for sunny skies, humidity returning, and warmer temperatures.
Coming up, see how Ball State students are expressing themselves through film.
That's after weather now.
Thanks, Ian. The annual Ball State 48-hour film festival starts this weekend. Newslink Indiana's Braylon Judy sat down with one group whose passion for film is giving them hope for the upcoming festival.
Last weekend, Ball State student-led Dreamscape Studios competed in their third annual film festival in their hometown of Kokomo, Indiana, to gear up for the upcoming Ball State 48-hour film festival. The studio consists of lifelong friends that have been making mini-movies since first grade. It all started with one singular camera and an idea.
What made you start making movies? I got a camera when I was in first grade, and after that, I had watched so many behind-the-scenes things when I was little. I was obsessed with like every behind-the-scenes like documentary, and I just decided that I wanted to make it too.
This time, they were given the theme of heist, which was a new genre for the event. Last year, they were given Western and won Best Writing with their film, Colors That Bleed. Their 48-hour film career has led the group to meet talent from all over Kokomo, even recruiting multiple students from the high school they attended, which gave the group connections they would have never had if not for the love of film.
It was a heist film, that was our genre. We had to film in 48 hours, and we did film in 48 hours. And then our lovely director and editor, Brady, patched together a good film to put on and got Best Director for it. So I think the results were pretty good. Pretty good.
During the film festival, the crew shared plans about the upcoming Ball State 48-hour film contest. The group is looking to do something innovative and unique with the genre they are given. In Muncie, Braylon Judy, Newslink, Indiana.
The festival kicks off tonight at 6 p.m. in the David Letterman Building.
The sister organization to Cardinal Filmworks Fringe Production House is looking to change the way media is made and who can make it. Fringe is looking towards a fresh start this year, what they call the Blue Sky Phase. They call it last night. Students of all ages show great interest in Fringe. They're excited to dive deep into episodic film production. Eris Robinson, the executive producer of Fringe, explained what the club is all about.
Fringe is a production house on campus that emphasizes diversity within our community in an underrepresented environment. Media itself is such a boys' club generally, so what we are trying to do is make a welcoming home for people that want to produce.
Fringe is always looking for more members. For more information, contact Eris Robinson at our email eris.robertson@bsu.edu or contact them through their Instagram at FringeBSU.
And let's check out our national weather with Aaliyah.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of those current temperatures around our country. 62 degrees in Kansas City, 58 degrees in Denver, 75 degrees in Las Vegas, and 54 degrees up in Seattle. Pretty average temperatures for this time of day. Let's take a look at this radar. You can see there are lots of storms popping up, and we will get deeper into that later in my forecast. Today's highs, we do have some pretty warm temperatures for this time of year. 75 degrees in Kansas City, 79 in Denver, 94 degrees in Las Vegas, as well as Dallas, Texas. So very, very warm temperatures for those parts of our country. We do have quite a few watches and warnings as we move throughout the day. This purple right by Billings is a winter weather advisory. They're expected to get up to 6 inches in snow in the mountains. This brown part in Montana is a lake wind advisory, so they're expecting extreme wind gusts up to 45 miles per hour. So try to avoid the water in Montana because it's going to create dangerous conditions for boaters. Down in Wyoming, we do have fire hazards, so very dry conditions, low humidity, perfect concoction for creating an uncontrollable fire that will spread very, very far. In Dallas, Texas, I do want to point this out. This gray area does mean that they are experiencing polluted air, so dangerous air to breathe in, and it's caused from our ozone leaving toxic gases in the air that we breathe. So be mindful of that if you are from Texas. This part right here, this green, is a the post-hurricane cyclone from Francine. So that is causing flash flooding in that part of the country. Down here in southern Florida, there is a heat advisory with indexes up to 111 degrees today. So crucially hot for that part. You can see this precision cast. Let's go a little deeper into that. As we zoom in, you can see these rain systems moving up and throughout our country. And you can see up here in North Dakota, there's a system moving, and it's going to be pushed to Canada as the weekend moves on. And this storm right here, this is from the Hurricane Francine is moving through our country and causing lots of flash flooding. So did you guys see anything about that hurricane? It was pretty crazy, wasn't it?
Pretty crazy, but it's calmed down. It's
Yes.
like back to rain. That's super exciting to
Yes.
hear.
It's very
very, very intense.
I also agree.
Coming up, see which actor just got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
That's after your weather now.
Taking a live look outside the Cooper Science Building. Ewan McGregor made it to the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The 53-year-old Golden Globe and Emmy award-winning actor was honored with the 2,798th star on the street next to El Capitan Theater. McGregor made his breakthrough in the 1996 film Trainspotting. Among the other movies, he appeared in Black Hawk Down and A Life Less Ordinary. The Scottish-born actor also starred in Obi-Wan Kenobi and the second released Star Wars trilogy. McGregor just finished working on David Robert Mitchell's new movie, Flowervale Street. He also serves as a Goodwill ambassador for the non-profit organization UNICEF UK.
Friday the 13th may be considered unlucky for some, but not for those who love peanuts. That's because today is National Peanut Day. Peanuts are actually legumes. That's the same food family as peas and beans, and they grow underground like potatoes. The peanut plant likely originated from South America, perhaps 3,500 years ago. Dr. George Washington Carver, a black scientist and inventor, paved the way in peanut research and encouraged farmers to grow them. Peanuts pack a ton of protein, are high in antioxidants, enriched in magnesium, iron, and zinc. You can enjoy peanuts in desserts and savory dishes, and this creamy form of peanut butter. Share your favorite kind of social media with the hashtag National Peanut Day.
Taylor Swift won big at the MTV's 40th Annual Music Awards. Swifties would expect no less. Swift was crowned Artist of the Year and Best Pop Artist. Her song with Post Malone, Fortnite, earned her the top prize of Video of the Year. It also won Best Collaboration, Direction, and Editing. Presenters included hip-hop artist Favorite Flav and Olympic gymnast Jordan Childs. Performers included Katy Perry, who did a string of her hits. She also won the Video Vanguard Award. Wednesday's awards show was hosted by Megan Thee Stallion, who won Best Art Direction for her song, Boa. Chappell Roan performed and won Best New Artist, her first VMA. And we've got a lot of warmer weathers happening here. Ball State students get to walk out in their shorts. It's felt really good outside.
Again, I can't wait for the weather because, can't wait for the fall.
Yeah, and let's see what Ian has for our local weather.
Yeah, I'm excited too. It's going to be a great week to get outside. Might be a little warm though. Might want to bring some water. Right now, not so much. 55 degrees in Muncie, 66 in Indianapolis. Pretty normal, cool start for our day. As well in the rest of the viewing area, it's pretty similar temperatures, just those mid to high 50s, 59 right now in Newcastle, almost hitting 60 in our neighboring cities. Looking at our cloud cover, it's pretty clear skies. We had some thicker clouds earlier this morning. It's starting to clear up. That's going to apply to the rest of the day too. As we head throughout the day, we're going to see sunnier skies and again, those pretty warm temperatures. 9 a.m. it's going to be 63 degrees, partly cloudy. 77 at noon, mostly clear, 89 degrees at 5 p.m. That pattern is going to continue throughout the week, and we're going to continue to see those kind of cooler, maybe a little bit warmer conditions in the evening. 62 degrees and mostly cloudy. That's going to keep us out of those 50s as those clouds kind of bottle up those warmer temperatures, keeping it a little warmer than we would expect in the evening. Looking at our precision temperatures over the next couple of days, we're talked about that pattern of pretty warm to cool evenings and those really warm days. 89 at Friday at 7 p.m. We're going to see those warm evenings continue until we get to even those overnight hours is when we're going to get to our low of 63 degrees at 6 a.m. on Saturday, 65 in Indianapolis. And then we're going to start to heat back up. Again, upper 80s, low 90s, cracking 91 in Muncie Saturday at 5 p.m., 93 in Indianapolis. That pattern is just going to continue. It's a very simple weather forecast over these next couple of days. Really enjoyable conditions for those of you who just want to get outside. 63 on Sunday, 7 p.m. on Sunday, 90 degrees once again. Just a really great week to try to get outside, enjoy the remnants of these summer temperatures. Looking behind me, you're going to see these clouds start to clear out as we head into Saturday. Even a more clear day, but still partly cloudy. You're going to see those scattered clouds throughout the day, maybe making it feel a little cooler just for a moment if you want to break from those warm conditions. What you're really going to want to worry about is this humidity starting to return. Friday into Saturday, 7 p.m., 58 degrees will be our dew point. 54 at Saturday at 4 a.m. Going to return right back up that next day to 63 in Muncie and 65 in Indianapolis. It's going to be, again, just a pretty great week to get outside, go on a walk, ride your bike. I'm going to try to make the most of it as we start to see those summer conditions head away as we head into October. Let's look a little bit further at this week. Saturday, 91 will be our high. Sunday, 90 degrees, mostly clear on Monday, 88 degrees, 84 degrees on Tuesday, and mostly clear. That's where you're going to see that chance of rain. I'm really happy to see one last glimpse of summer before we start to get into these cooler conditions.
Yeah, I'm excited though to wear my sweaters, and I'm excited it's coming up to be football season. Really excited to see what's.
I'm also really excited, and also I can't wait for the earlier weather in the morning and then a little bit hotter. I'm more of an early guy, and I just like the early weather before the highway, like you said, later in the day it's gonna be 90 degrees. No winter for me. I just can't really see it much for that weather.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Ian. Coming up, see what we think are the best fantasy football picks.
That's after your weather now.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. I am Jackson White. And with week 1 of the NFL season now over, all sports fans have only one question on their mind. Who should I have on my fantasy football team? Well, lucky for you, I am here with your fantasy footballs, buys, and sells. Let's get right into it. And first, I'll explain it. A buy is a player that's value, is low right now, so you want to buy into him. And let's get right into it. Our first buy will be quarterback Joe Burrow for the Cincinnati Bengals. He had 8 points in week 1 and only had 164 yards passing, but I don't believe he'll have that low of passing yards yet this season. No T. Higgins in this week 1 matchup versus the Patriots, which they lost, but he'll be back in following weeks. Jamar Chase should be back in the offense as well, and in the next few weeks they play the Commanders and the Panthers, 2 teams that are not that good. And then a sell is a player that Well, the value is very high. You want to sell them for other players, well, because they're not going to produce probably what they did in the past. And, well, our first sell is Jaden Reed, the Green Bay Packers receiver. He had 33 points in Week 1 for 4 receptions, 138 yards, and 2 touchdowns. But will he do that again? Probably not. And the question is Jordan Love. He had an MCL sprain versus the Eagles in their last matchup, so Malik Willis will be under the helm for the Packers. And let's safe to say he is not that good of a quarterback, so Jaden Reed, I would say, is a sell. Let's get back into the buys. A buy, DK Metcalf, the Seattle Seahawks receiver. He had 5.9 points in Week 1 on 3 receptions for 29 yards, but I don't think he'll have anything like that again. 3 receptions for 29 yards is unlikely for him. I would buy DK Metcalf because, well, I think the Seahawks offense will do better than that. And then I would sell Stephon Diggs, the Houston receiver. He had 21.9 points in Week 1, 2 touchdowns though, only 6 receptions for 33 yards. His touchdowns carried his points. I doubt he'll have multiple 2-touchdown games, so I would sell Stephon Diggs. And finally, the final buy, I would say buy Jonathan Taylor for the Indianapolis Colts, the running back. He had 10 points in Week 1 on 16 carries for 48 yards and a touchdown. But the big one, he played 95% of snaps for the Colts in Week 1. So that offense is high-powered. Expect Jonathan Taylor to get some points for your fantasy team. And finally, I would sell Alvin Kamara, the New Orleans Saints running back. He had 22 points in Week 1 on 15 carries for 83 yards. But he's 29 years old. He has not played a full season since his rookie year. And, well, they played the Panthers in Week 1, and the Panthers are very bad to say the least. So I don't think he'll be playing them every week, so I would sell Alvin Kamara. But also, my last tip here, I would say pick up any defense that's playing the Panthers, because the Panthers are a bad football team. So if you're playing the Panthers, well, if your team's playing the Panthers, pick up their defense, because the Panthers' offense is quite bad. But that's all I have for you today in the buys and sells of fantasy football here as well. But I think that's all we have for today. And that's it. So coming up, we've got your breaking down the science, but that's after your weather now.
A runaway penguin has been found safe in Japan nearly 2 weeks after she first went missing. The 6-year-old penguin known as Pen, who was born and raised in captivity, was traveling with staff in August when she escaped into open waters. But miraculously, the arrival of a typhoon helped keep her safe. With no boats able to operate, the penguin avoided collisions and getting caught in fishing nets. And the record rainfall from this storm helped the penguin with hydration. On Sunday, someone spotted Pen swimming near a beach where she first went missing. She had no injuries and was in good physical shape after making the 28-mile journey through the storm.
Astronomers have observed the motion of giant gas bubbles on the surface of a nearby star for the first time. They rise and fall like the inside of a lava lamp. The observations were made using telescopes in Chile. The astronomers said the massive hot gas bubbles are 7 times the size of the sun and appear to be sinking down into itself quicker than expected. The images show a red giant star 180 light years away. It serves as a preview for our sun's future. Our sun will become a red giant in about 5 billion years. It will puff up and expand as it releases layers of material likely to evaporate the solar system inner planets.
And we, there's been a hurricane, lots of different tropical storms happening, but it's all calmed down to rain. It's Friday the 13th. Weirder things have happened.
And it's apparently supposed to be unlucky, so, it always seems to not always be happy, but, besides the point.
Well, let's see what Rachel has for us.
So we talked about hurricanes earlier today, but what's not talked about enough is how the hurricane is formed and like the formation of it. So there actually goes through 4 cycles. It doesn't just become a hurricane. So we have number 1 as tropical disturbance, then number 2 as tropical depression, number 3 as tropical storm, and number 4 as the hurricane. So breaking it down a little bit, the tropical disturbance is when this warm the oceanic water starts to rise and condense, and it kind of starts to build and form it. And then it kind of like transitions into the tropical depression. And with the tropical depression, we really focus on the high pressure up here. So the warm rising air kind of starts to move up and takes over the low pressure, and it starts to kind of circulate because of the warm pressure. And then because of the surface low pressure, it kind of starts to go down a little bit. And then that kind of like circulates a lot because of the winds that are pushing it. And so that circulation starts to get faster and faster as we continue. And it's like the tropical storm, it turns into a tropical storm, which is about 39 miles per hour, but then it turns into the hurricane, which is 75 miles per hour. And so a hurricane has different categories. So number 1, the first category is 74 to 95 miles per hour. And then going down to the third category, it kind of gets into those hundreds, 111 to 129 miles per hour. And then it turns into category 5, which is 157 and up. And what's not talked about is how the hurricane kind of goes away, like we mentioned earlier in the show. So the hurricane, its feeling is from the warm air from the ocean. And so as it hits the land, that feel kind of goes away, and it kind of starts to dissipate and just kind of turns into a bunch of rain. And as we as we look at that, back to you.
Thanks, Rachel. A lot of really cool and interesting information there.
Yeah, I learned a ton. I've been covering this hurricane and tracking over these past couple of days, but I really feel like I really learned a lot from that too.
Yeah, and you really don't ever think about how the whole thing happens. And I don't know, that's just really cool to me.
The cool thing for me was I actually learned that it used to be a hurricane, how, it was a hurricane and then just kind of went, bye-bye, just rain.
Yeah.
So I can't really get any better than that.
Yeah, the mechanics for me as a meteorologist are always super interesting, and I'm glad you guys have passion for it too. So thanks, Rachel. And over these next couple of days, we're going to start to see the remnants of that kind of start to reach us, but not entirely, since we're not going to see any of that rain move up to Delaware County. It's going to be 87 degrees will be our high for the day, 91 on Saturday, 90 on Sunday. We're going to continue to see those kind of warmer temperatures, upper 80s throughout the early next week, 88 degrees on Monday. Mostly clear skies throughout that week. I'm super excited for that. It's going to get me this kind of last burst of summer, so I can spend some time outside with some friends, maybe play some basketball. I'm super excited to just enjoy this next week.
Well, thanks, Ian. And that's all for Cardinal Weather this morning. Thank you for joining us.
We'll see you next week. Have a great rest of your Friday and a fantastic weekend.